The virtuous Venus.
The perfect matrimony. This is literally like the teaching. This is the highest grade of teachings. This is by SAMAEL on Weor. I don't even know how to say his name, but it's a Gnostic teaching. The divine matrimony is basically the synthesis of tantric yoga, right? Sexual alchemy, and the pathways of initiation, rise of the Kundalini, and the incarnation of the cosmic Christ. Yeah, so when we diving in, Lego.
Remember the processions of the god Priapus in the august old Rome of the Caesars. When the priestesses of the temple, full of ecstasy, majestically bore an enormous phallus of sacred wood. With just reason Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, says that religions have a sexual origin. Contained within the perfect matrimony are the mysteries of fire. All fire cults are totally sexual. The Vestals were true priestesses of love, with them the celibate priests reached adepthood. It is unfortunate that the modern Vestals, nuns, do not know the key of sexual magic. It is unfortunate that the priests of today have forgotten the secret key of sex. We feel profound pain to see so many yogis who ignore.
Just to start off with, don't get ahead of yourselves thinking, oh yeah, sexual magic's God, don't, you can't practice white tantra until you have such profound understanding of this stuff. You don't even get to the sexual alchemy part until you're at the footstep of the first great initiation, which is into the Christhood. But understanding this concept is very important, and if you're not already, definitely start purifying your sexual desires, or in fact any appetites of the flesh, any carnal lusts, right? Appetites of the personality, or the lower self, lusts and appetites of the flesh chain you down. The high ancient days where this practice, this was the secret of secrets, that they would only give those of the highest initiates, right? Those who have already purified themselves of all carnal lusts, even the shadow of desire for pleasures, right? And firmly rooted themselves into a soul-centric being. This teaching was given. So understand that. Let's continue. Last note: Gnosticism and Kabbalah is the way. It's the highest teachings out here, hands down. If you've been deep, if you still are looking through this labyrinth of texts and whatnot, definitely understand the Hermetic basis, the Hermetic philosophy, but really Gnosticism and Kabbalah. If you've made your way here, this is where to really put your mind into.
The supreme key of yoga, sexual magic, the supreme synthesis of all systems of yoga. 2. People are filled with horror when they hear about sexual magic, but they are not filled with horror when they give themselves over to sexual deviation and carnal passion. Here you have, dear reader, the synthesis of all religions, schools, and sects. Our doctrine is the doctrine of the synthesis.
On the night of the centuries there were powerful civilizations and grandiose. The priestesses of love were never absent from the temples. Those who became masters of the White Lodge practiced sexual magic with them. The master must be born inside us by means of sexual magic. In the sunny land of Kern, in the ancient Egypt of the pharaohs, whoever revealed the great arcanum, sexual magic, condemned to death, his head was cut off, his heart was torn out, and his ashes were hurled to the four winds. In the land of the Aztecs, men and women, aspiring to be adepts, practiced sexual magic. For long periods of time, caressing each other, loving each other within the courtyards of the temple. In these temple practices, whoever spilled the glass of Hermes was beheaded for having profaned the temple. All systems of intimate self-education have sexual...
Whoever spilled the glass of Hermes was beheaded, right? Because they profaned the temple. If you spill the glass of Hermes, meaning, like, you, I guess, lose it. You, like, you orgasm where you come. That is letting SAMAEL, basically kill you, decapitate you, and send you back to Klepoth. Like, funny, but yeah. So when all these like high priests, these masters of old, like that was the penalty for I guess losing.
Magic is their ultimate practical synthesis. Every religion, every esoteric cult, has in synthesis sexual magic, the Arcanum AZF. In the mysteries of Eleusis there was naked dancing, ineffable things. Sexual magic was the fundamental basis of those mysteries. In those days nobody thought indecent things because they profoundly venerated sex. Initiates know that the third logos works within sex. We have written this book with complete clarity, we have unveiled what was veiled. Now, whoever wants to realize himself in depth can do so. Here is the guide, here is the complete teaching. I have already been harassed, humiliated, calumniated, and persecuted, etc. for teaching the path of the perfect matrimony. That does not matter. At first the treason and calumny hurt a great deal, but now I have become like steel and the treason and calumny no longer hurts. I know only too well that humanity hates the truth and mortally hates the prophets, and so, it is normal that they hate me for having written this book. There is only one thing we pursue, one goal, one objective, Christification. It is necessary that each person Christifies himself. It is necessary to incarnate the Christ. In this book we have lifted the veil of the Christic mysteries. We have explained what the Christic principle is. We have invited all human beings to follow the path of the perfect match.
If you're not catching on yet, the goal here, my friends, like the whole goal of being a human is to become Christ. It is to incarnate Christ into the flesh. Okay, like that's the highest spiritual attainment you can get. And that's the whole point. That's the entire point of existence. And like, this is what I feel like a lot of people, like spiritual people, don't get. Like, yo, like our role here, our purpose here, it is one of striving, it is one of focus and diligence, and in every single way, like finding our courage, finding our strength, finding our purpose, and ever keeping our eyes upward, right? Understanding what is going on here, understanding what this life is. I don't even know anybody that's not completely lost. There's like 2 or 3 people that understand, like, oh yeah, but like I don't really talk to many people that understand what can be attained here and the sacred duty of going after it. And it's not like we can all attain, the highest initiations in this lifetime. You have to have incarnations, your discipline, like the men of knowledge, the men of discipline, the men of virtue, that have ever striven upward through the densities. They're incarnated here with spiritual gifts, and you can attain these spiritual gifts vastly within one lifetime. A lot of people think of intelligence as something like that's you're either born with or it's like cultivated through like strenuous work. But truly, the higher form of intelligence, which would be logos, can be bestowed upon the individual who strives after it diligently. Like spiritual gifts such as, like courage of Hercules, you know what I mean? Strength and courage of Hercules kind of thing. Or, divine mind and logos of Thoth or Hermes. The love and righteousness of Jesus. These are spiritual gifts given to you after you pass the trials and tests. Do you understand? We'll go way deeper later, but...
Matrimony to attain Christification. We have explained that Christ is not an individual, but a universal, cosmic, and impersonal principle, which must be assimilated by each person through sexual magic. Naturally, all this scandalizes the fanatics, but the truth is the truth and we have to tell it, even when it costs us our lives. The teachings of the Zendavesta are similar to the doctrinal principles contained in the Egyptian Book of the Dead, and contain the Christic principle. The Iliad of Homer, the Hebrew Bible, the Germanic Edda and the Sibyllinic books of the Romans contain the same Christic principle. This is sufficient to demonstrate that Christ is anterior to Jesus of Nazareth. Christ is not one individual. Christ is a cosmic principle that we must 3. Assimilate within our own physical, psychic, somatic, and spiritual nature, through sexual...
Yo, I know a lot of people that want to become their best version. They want to be their greatest self. A lot of people out here want to self-actualize or realize their full potential. Well, here's the thing. Your full potential is Christhood. Your full potential is being accepted and standing in the order of Melchizedek. Your full potential is God incarnate on earth. That's self-actualization. That's the self from Carl Jung's mystery teachings. We gotta get this through our head. I see all these people out here that strive so hard to be great, and they have such great intentions, right? But they lack any depth beyond, just scratching the surface of an iceberg when it comes to understanding what the fuck is going on out here. So I'm just letting you know. Then jump aboard the fucking... get on board with it, my friends. Your fullest potential is divine kingship, divine queenship, the high priest or the emperor. Become the Hierophant, my friends.
Magic. Amongst the Persians, Christ is Ormuzd, Ahura Mazda, the terrible enemy of Ahriman, Satan, which we have within us. Amongst the Hindus, Krishna is Christ, and the Gospel of Krishna is very similar to that of Jesus of Nazareth. Among the Egyptians, Christ was Osiris, and whoever incarnated him was in fact an Osirified one. Amongst the Chinese it is Fu Shi, the cosmic Christ who composed the I Ching, the Book of Laws, and named the Dragon Ministers. Among the Greeks, Christ is called Zeus, Jupiter, the father of the gods. Amongst the Aztecs it is Quetzalcoatl, the Mexican Christ. In the Germanic Edda, it is Balder, the Christ who was assassinated by Hodor, god of war, with an arrow of mistletoe, etc. Thus we can find the cosmic Christ in thousands of ancient texts and old traditions that came millions of years before Jesus. All this invites us to accept that Christ is a cosmic principle contained in the essential principles of all religions. Really, there is only one unique and cosmic religion. This
Christ is basically, the force and the path and the way to your perfected archetype. How can you become the perfected and full manifestation of your own creative, creation of you, right? Yourself, your perfected archetype is unique to you. Creation never repeats itself, right? You're not the Christ. You're not Jesus of Nazareth. You're not the Buddha, right? But you are a Buddha. You're not Jesus, but you are a Christ, right? Or you can attain that. Or, you can remain deep into densities, a slave's duality, and never realizing, never escaping the lowest worlds. So, yeah, become your perfected archetype.
Religion assumes different forms according to the times and the needs of humanity. Therefore, religious conflicts are absurd because, at their base, all religions are only modifications of the universal cosmic religion. From this point of view, we affirm that this book is not against any religion, school, or system of thought. The only purpose of this book is to give to humanity a key, a sexual secret, a key with which every living being may assimilate the Christic principle, contained in the foundation of all the great religions of the world. We recognize Jesus Zeus Jupiter, the new Superman who totally assimilated the Christic principle, and as a result became a God-man. We consider that we must imitate him. He was a complete man, a true man in the full sense of the word, and through sexual magic he attained the absolute assimilation of the universal cosmic Christic principle. The few who understand should study the Gospel of John, chapter 3, verses 1-21. There the devotee of the perfect matrimony will find pure and legitimate sexual magic as taught by Jesus. Of course the teaching is given in code, but he who understands will understand it intuitively. Modern humanity has committed the error of separating the great Master Jesus from all his predecessors who, like him, Christified themselves. This has damaged the present humanity. We need to understand better that all religions are only one religion. Mary, the mother of Jesus, is the same as Isis, Juno, Demeter, Ceres, Maya, etc., the cosmic mother, or Kundalini, sexual fire, of whom the cosmic Christ is always born. Mary Magdalene is the same as Salambo, Matris, Ishtar, Astarte, Aphrodite, and Venus, with whom we must practice sexual magic to awaken the fire. The martyrs, saints, virgins, angels, and cherubim are the same gods, demigods, titans, goddesses, sylphs, cyclops, and messengers of the gods of the pagan mythologies. All the religious principles of Christianity are pagan, and when the present religious forms disappear, their principles will be assimilated by the new religious forms of the future. We need to comprehend what Immaculate Conception is. We need to know that only with the perfect matrimony can Christ be born in the heart of man. It is urgent to awaken the 4. Fire of Kundalini, or fire of the Holy Spirit, to incarnate the Christ. Whoever awakens Kundalini transforms himself like Ganymede into the eagle of the Spirit, to rise to Olympus and serve as cup-bearer to the ineffable gods. It is lamentable that the Catholic priests have destroyed so many documents, erred so many valuable treasures of antiquity. Fortunately, they were not able to destroy them all. During the age of the Renaissance, some marvelous books were discovered by valiant priests. Thus, despite the persecutions of the clergy, Dante Alighieri, Boccago, Petrarch, Erasmus, etc., were able to translate works as famous as the Iliad and the Odyssey of Homer, true books of occult science and sexual magic. They also translated the Aeneid of Virgil, the Agony, the Works and Days of Hesiod, the Metamorphoses of Ovid, and other writings of Lucretius, Horace, Tibullus, Titus Livius, Tacitus, Apuleius, Cicero, etc. It is all pure Gnosticism. It is really lamentable that some ignorant people abandon gnosis to follow systems and methods that ignore sexual magic and the perfect matrimony. We have investigated all the great Gnostic treasures, we have scrutinized the basis of all the archaic religions, and we have found the supreme key of sexual magic at the base of all cults. Now we deliver this treasure, this key to suffering humanity. Many will read this book, but few will comprehend it. This book is solely a book of sexual magic. Those who are accustomed to read thousands of books out of pure intellectual curiosity, will in fact miss the opportunity to study this work in depth. This book should not be read quickly. Whoever thinks like this is mistaken. It is necessary to study it profoundly and to comprehend it totally, not only with the intellect but in all levels of the mind. The intellect is only a small fraction of the mind. The intellect is not the whole mind. He who understands this book only with the intellect has not understood it. Only with internal meditation is it possible to understand it. In all levels of the mind. It is urgent to practice sexual magic to attain Christification. In this book the reader will discover the supreme key of intimate self-realization. We are not against any religion, school, and sect, order, or lodge because we know that all religious forms are manifestations of the great cosmic universal infinite religion, latent in every atom of the cosmos. We simply teach the synthesis of all religions, schools, orders, lodges and beliefs. Our doctrine is the doctrine of the synthesis. Sexual magic is practiced in esoteric Christianity, sexual magic is practiced in Zen Buddhism. Sexual magic is practiced amongst the initiated yogis. Sexual magic is practiced amongst the Mohammedan Sufis. Sexual magic was practiced in the initiatic colleges of Troy, Egypt, Rome, Carthage, and Eleusis. Sexual magic was practiced by the mysterious Maya, Aztec, Inca, Druids etc. Sexual magic and the cosmic Christ are the synthesis of all religions, schools, and sects. We teach the doctrine of the synthesis. This doctrine could never be contrary to the diverse religious forms. Our teachings are found within all religions, schools, and beliefs. If the reader makes a serious study of the religions of the world, he will discover the 5. Phallus and uterus as the synthesis of all mystery.
Yo, straight. Sexual alchemy involves a lot more than just like Tantra and you have to be at such a high level of energy work, subtle perception, occult awareness, and gnosis of higher worlds, right? To be able to move through the 22 pathways of the Kabbalah as you illuminate all 10 emanations of God within you. Okay, how you activate the tree of life, right? And escape the tree of death, essentially, like, is through, I guess sexual alchemy is kind of like the key to the door in the sense that it is the key to how you can start, bring the Kabbalah into being, if that's making sense, right? Because you still got to get all the gnosis and whatnot, and like she's kind of making it sound like sexual alchemy is the whole of it. But it's really just the force that moves the energy, right? You have to direct it. You have to know it, like, discover. It's so deep. But yeah, what I was going to say, though, is she ain't kidding. Gnosticism plus Kabbalah plus sexual alchemy is everything. It's all. Like, this is the whole thing. This is the best teaching. To get here, though, and truly comprehend, you have to be a very well-learned and deeply studied individual to like gain the full teaching. But either way, this can blast people off. Yeah, again, just Gnosticism, Kabbalah. Know what I mean? Like, this guy, amazing, incredible. You have the Nag Hammadi scriptures, which are a little bit Coptic in a sense. We'll get deeper into that later, but
there has never been any religion or school of mysteries where the cosmic Christ and the mysteries of sex were absent. The doctrine of the synthesis can harm no one, because it is the synthesis of all. We invite the devotees of all cults, schools, and beliefs to make a comparative study of religions. We invite the students of all the diverse systems of intimate self-education to study the sexual esotericism of all the secret mystery schools. We invite all yogis to study sexual yoga and the white tantrism of India, without which no yogi is able to attain absolute liberation. Sexual magic and Christ are the synthesis of all esoteric study, whatever is its name, religious form, or educational system. The attacks, of which we have been victims, the persecutions, anathemas, excommunications etc., are due to ignorance and lack of study. The synthesis enriches every religious form or esoteric system. The synthesis can harm no one. This is the doctrine of the synthesis. We deeply love all religious forms. We know that they are the loving manifestation of the great cosmic universal religion. The supreme religious synthesis is found in the perfect matrimony. God is love and wisdom. In Christ and in sex is the ultimate synthesis of all lodges, orders, schools, sects, systems, and methods of intimate self-realization, in the East as in the West, in the North as in the South. Inverental peace. SAMAEL on Weor. 6. Chapter 1. Love. God as Father is wisdom.
We'll be diving way deeper. This is the Mystery School. It's your boy, the messenger, out here, just finding gems and bringing it to you. Hell yeah. This is Immortal Truth. We immortal. See you next time on Gnostic Research Notes and the Initiations and Pathway to Christhood. Hell yeah. See you later, Tribe of the Sky.